Hey guys, my name is Andre and I'm a full-time print-on-demand seller. And in this video, we're going to go through my entire process of how I evaluate which niches I want to enter for my print-on-demand business. In addition to sharing my process, I'm going to jumpstart your progress going through this process by giving you a free spreadsheet that includes over 2,000 potential niche ideas that you can go through this process and evaluate which niches you want to enter. Okay, so here we are in the spreadsheet. As you can probably not see, the count is over 2,000 for main niche keyword and topic. We have a header here that adds t-shirt there, so you can just copy paste it into the search bar of whatever marketplace you're checking competition for. And we have it broken down by niche types if you have a preference on what kind of niches you want to do. We've got animals, countries, hobbies and interests, occupations, personality traits, and many more categories. And as you can see here on the right side of the spreadsheet, we have a few columns that if we fill it out, it will help to give us clarity on which niches that we should be entering. And over here, we have the example niches that we're going to go through together. So as you probably saw when we were poking around the spreadsheet, we're really looking at 3 different factors in order to evaluate whether or not it's worth our time to enter into a niche. Are there sales? What's the competition like? And can we beat the competition through some combination of design or AI prompting? Now, this will all make more sense as we go through the examples together. So let's get into those examples. Okay, so as I alluded to earlier, we're going to work through these example niches together in order to kind of give you an over-the-shoulder look on how to evaluate whether or not we want to enter into a niche. Now, I'm going to be doing this through Amazon because that is the primary marketplace that I would recommend being a part of, but this will ultimately work for whatever marketplace that you decide to be in. Okay, so here we are in our first one. We're doing it in order. So as you can see here, this is a free plugin. It's called Productor, and I would definitely be using Productor in order to do your research because it gives you BSRs right here. There are other plugins like I think DS Amazon Quick View if you're having trouble with Productor, but Productor is a solid option. So that's what I tend to use. So install it if you want to follow along as closely as possible. So here we are with the Alpaca niche, and we can have a quick scroll through to see if this niche is getting any sales. We have to keep in mind that sometimes we're going to get results that are not related to the niche. For example, groundhog mode has nothing to do with alpaca. This zombie cow, nothing to do with alpaca either. We can consider these to not be a part of our competition. So when we're going through the relevant designs, we are looking for BSRs, which are best sellers rank, because if it has a BSR, that means that there have been sales. And if you have a first page that's full of sales, that means that there are sales to be had if you properly enter the niche and you can properly beat the competition. So as we scroll through, we see a few that have BSRs. We got one here, and the lower the BSR, the more sales that are happening that have happened recently. So as we scroll through, we see that the first page is filled with designs that have a BSR rating. And if a ton of different designs have a BSR rating, that means that the niche is pretty alive and people are making sales. So let's fill in our spreadsheet. Proven sales? Yes. Okay, so this proven sales section is probably the single most important thing you can do to make sure that you have a portfolio that has some value. If nobody is buying anything within that topic, you shouldn't waste your time designing for it. But we also have to consider what is the quality of our competition and how many people are on target with designing for the topic that we're looking at. And I would say after scrolling through this and seeing the different things that are being offered, that the competition is rather high. Okay, so if you're good at AI prompts, you'll be able to get outputs that are at least as good as what we're seeing here. But what would work better is if we find some kind of cross niche or sub niche design so that we don't have to compete one-to-one with designs that are already selling that are of similar quality. In fact, if we scroll through, we have a cross niche with the periodic table of elements here. That one's doing fine. We have a cross niche here where we have an immigration topic, a patriotic topic. But many of these designs are retro vintage sunset type designs, and you don't really want to do the exact same style as everybody else because then you have to compete on price or spend a lot on ads. And if we can do it without doing that, then that is a better position to be in. Okay, so let's make some final notes in our spreadsheet. So some things that I noticed are that we've got a lot of vintage sunset designs. So we need to think about how we can differentiate. And since this niche is a little bit crowded with competition, we need to make something different. And the easiest way to do that, based on the quality of the designs that we are seeing, is to make it different by cross-niching. Okay, so I know that was kind of a little bit slower and there's a little bit of vagueness in how we're interpreting things. And realistically, that's how niche evaluation will work until you figure out how to do this on your own and get your own data. But to make things a little bit simpler, we're going to provide some more concrete guidelines. The first guideline that will make it easier to make sure that you're picking a winning niche is that you want 5 of the top 10 listings that are organic searches to have a BSR rating. Other things we're looking for is making sure that we're only considering on-target listings. So in the alpaca niche that we were just talking about, we don't count anything that's a different animal or something that is wholly unrelated to the niche. Another thing that makes it a little bit easier to enter into a niche is looking at what kind of pricing the other listings are using. Because if all of the prices are $14.99 and $15.99, it's going to be really tough to break into that niche and show a profit. Whereas if there are higher prices, we have the option of listing at a lower price in order to get some momentum for our own listing inside of the niche. And the last thing we need to consider is, can we do better than the top 3 BSRs that we're seeing when we search? Okay, so here we are in our next niche, and this one is the Axolotl niche. It's another animal niche. This is a far more kids-oriented type of animal, popularized by things like Minecraft, right? So let's scroll through and let's do a quick check of what sales we are seeing. What kind of BSRs are we seeing? So we've got one that has an incredibly low BSR. This is selling many times a day. This is also selling many times a day. This is also selling many times a day. So this niche is well and alive in terms of how many sales we are seeing for that keyword / main topic. So we definitely have the sales volume required for this niche to be viable. However, we need to think about whether or not we can compete in this niche. So let's make the note on the sales part. Now let's go back and look at the listings. So anytime you see this sponsored tag, that means that somebody is running ads to the listing. So for our purposes, we are not going to be looking at these sponsored ones. So let's scroll down. We've got this one. This is also sponsored, actually. So this is the first grouping of organic listings. So we've got the top 3 here. So let's evaluate how we would compete with this. These are quite good designs. So if you're new to design or you have trouble doing AI design prompts, this might not be the right niche for you. However, if you can break into this topic, you're going to make a pretty decent amount of money. Now, if I were entering this niche, I would be looking at ways that we can do something different. Maybe a different kind of pun or some kind of cross niche, because it's going to be very difficult to take a listing in this style, especially with the pricing strategies that we're seeing in play here. It'll take a lot of ads and it'll take a lot of time. So let's make some notes. We got very high competition. Notes on the sellers, we've got good quality cartoon axolotls. So can we make it better or different? I would say that for myself, I can't compete on graphics. So we need a different take. We're not going to be able to easily crush the competition by having better graphics. So we need to make sure that we're taking a completely different method in order to compete in this particular topic. So if you're new to print on demand, this is a pretty terrible niche for you to make your first attempt. So let's continue working our way through our list. Okay, so here we are with the Algeria country slash ethnic background type niche. Let's look at what we've got here. So we're ignoring the sponsored ads. We go down. Now, if you look at the BSRs, they're much higher. They're selling much less frequently, but that's not really a problem for us because if we can win in the niche and we can get a sale once every month or two, that's still a win for print on demand. So let's scroll through. Okay, we've got plenty of sales, but it's of a lower volume. And we've got a couple of cross niches here. The half Algerian flag, half US flag. The I live in the US, but my story began in Algeria. That's a really effective cross niche and one that I would probably explore if I were to be entering this particular keyword. So let's make our note. Proven sales, yes. Let's check the competition. What is the pricing looking like? It looks like generally speaking, we're seeing reasonable pricing across most of the listings. So we can differentiate based on price if we need to. So some of the notes on the sellers, we saw tons of flag graphics. We saw some cross niches with the US flag. Can we make it better or different? I would say that with this particular one, we would want to make it different instead of better. So if I were to enter this one, I would probably look up different phrases or refer to something that is based on some kind of cultural Algerian thing, because it's going to be a little bit harder to enter in and just try to do only flag graphics with a very basic phrase. So this is an opportunity to potentially get sales through differentiation. Okay, so here we've got another niche. It might look like the Bahamas niche would be similar to the Algerian niche. It's not necessarily that cut and dry because the Bahamas is also a place where people take vacations. So let's take a look past the sponsored listings and see what we see here. Okay, so we've got a tourism shirt here, which is not the same as an ethnic pride shirt. We've got another tourism shirt. We've got another tourism shirt, a sponsored ethnic pride shirt. This could be either a tourism shirt or an ethnic shirt. So while it may seem like this is the same type of niche that the other one is because they're both ethnic pride, country, ethnic background type shirts, it's not actually the case because the Bahamas are a popular tourism spot. So let's check for validating it based on sales volume. It looks like we have plenty of sales volume across the entire niche. We've got one that has very good sales volume right here, but all of the ones that have big sales volume are the ones that are vacation and tourism oriented. Okay, so we're here looking at our top 3 designs, and these are very solid designs. It would be a pretty heavy lift in order to beat this, especially with one of them being priced at $14.99. So let's go ahead and make our notes. Proven sales, yes. Competition level, I would say based on how good the designs are and the fact that there's a $14.99, that's a very high competition kind of niche. So our only option would be to make it different. And let's go ahead and change this to be different. So all of these high competition and very high competition type niches are going to require us to do something different instead of something that's better. So our notes on this niche, most of the listings are souvenir and tourism oriented. So make listings accordingly. Okay, so I was planning to go through every one of these, but this is starting to take quite a bit of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten the list a little bit, pick some of the more interesting ones, and then we will just finish going through the ones that are a little bit different than the ones we've just gone over, because we don't need to do an hour-long video here doing the same process. So let's take away some of the ones I know are going to be very high competition. Okay, so this seems more achievable for this video. Let's look at fencing next. Okay, so here we are looking at the fencing niche. So first we validate the sales. We go down below sponsored. So let's check our organic listings to see if they have BSRs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we've got plenty of sales volume here. So let's put in yes, we have validated sales. So now let's think about the competition and whether or not we can compete. So let's look at our top 3. That's a pretty good minimalist design, well within our abilities. It's even priced very high. So if we do a minimalist design and we price it a little bit lower, we can easily compete with this type of design. Another high price design, another high price design. These are pretty solid designs, but if we can do something similar and we price lower, we have an opportunity here to get a foothold in this niche. But let's look down at a few more organic listings to make sure that we are within our capabilities. That's a cool pun. This is a very achievable design if you use AI. Same here. Same here, they're all priced high. All very achievable designs. So this one actually looks to be lower in competition on the first page than all of the ones we've done so far. So let's make our notes here. So for competition, I would put something like medium. So with this niche, we have some options. We can choose to make something similar quality and price lower, which is a valid strategy, or we can do something different. The design quality was high, but the prices were also high, so we have an ability to compete here. So here's my note on this niche. AI images can definitely compete here. Prices are high, so we can compete on price if we can make a design of similar quality. And for the make better or different, I would say that we could do either one. We're going to be able to do something similar quality, which is all we need for this niche. And obviously, if we can differentiate, we always want to do that no matter what keyword or niche we're trying to enter. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so here we are in a niche that's near and dear to my heart because I do jujitsu. So let's make our way down past the sponsored ads and look at what we've got in the organic search. So let's look. We've got a simple design here, a somewhat simple design here. I would imagine it would be a little bit difficult to get this result with the silhouettes here, but it's pretty basic otherwise. Another basic design, $19.99, $19.99, $16.99. We got plenty of sales volume, and I know that the sport is kind of on the rise here. So let's keep going down. So we've got lots of achievable designs that we can compete with, lots of sales volume. So let's go and make our notes. I would say that the competition level here is medium because we have a lot of higher priced listings here. Okay, so my note is prices are high, so doing similar to better quality designs and pricing low is an option. And I think that we could do better than what we're seeing out there, especially with some of the AI image cross niches that we saw when we looked it up on Amazon. Okay, so looking at what we have remaining in the list, I wanted to make sure that we would cover at least one occupation and one medical recovery. So let's look at Amazon and see what it looks like. Okay, so this is both an amputee type niche and a medical recovery from an amputation type niche. Okay, so let's look at the BSRs for relevant designs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're good on proven sales. Now let's look at the pricing and the design quality to think about if we can compete. So this is a scaled design. This is a very simple design. Price is high, price is moderately low, price is low, price is high. Okay, so based on the prices and the BSRs that I am seeing, it really looks like a pretty solid niche. It is high competition, but it has plenty of sales volume. We can do better than a decent amount of these. Let's make our note on prices. So prices range from high to low. We need our design to be better in order to compete. Okay, so let's look at our occupation niche example. So here we are in the accountant niche. Let's move my face over here. So let's look at what we've got for BSRs. Do we have sufficient sales volume? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we've got plenty of sales volume, so let's make that note. So let's think a little bit about the pricing and whether or not we can do what we are seeing in the top 3 organic listings. All right, so it looks like in this niche, it's pretty standard to have it just be a simple text type design. We've got 3 text designs at the top, which is a good sign because if we can do a text design and we're a beginner, that is far easier to execute. Crunching numbers is my cardio. I can't, it's tax season. Here we go. Here's our first graphic one. Another text one. Okay, happiness is debits equals credits. That's pretty funny. Freaking the sheets here. So let's look at the pricing. The pricing looks pretty solid. There's only a few of them that are priced really low. So we have the option to price differentiate. And a lot of these designs are text-based. So I would say that this is a medium level of competition. And we can probably do better. Especially on the spreadsheet designs that we were seeing there, we could do a better job of representing a spreadsheet. So price range is medium to high. Spreadsheet puns and designs around that can be better executed. Lots of text-only designs in this niche. Okay, so let's quickly go through the allergy safety one because I think this is an interesting one that we could potentially look into. Okay, here we are with allergy safety. So allergy safety here, we've got food allergy awareness. If you're new to print on demand, it's a thing where people wear a lot of disease awareness shirts. They usually have a ribbon color. And if you go through and you do all kinds of different medical awareness niches, that's a pretty solid way to start doing designs that have a reasonable chance of selling. Let's take a peek at the BSR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do have BSRs. The BSRs are not particularly low. There's not a lot of sales volume here. So let's make that note low. So let's look a little further. So what I'm seeing here is we've essentially got 3 different things going on when we look up allergy safety t-shirt. We've got an awareness shirt. Then we've got an allergy alert for kids, which is something that a parent would put on them whenever they're going to a party. So let's scroll down. And then we've got allergies like seasonal allergies, which is just people complaining about having allergies. And then we've got this niche down, I'm not a shellfish person, that is a specific niche down food allergy thing. So we can take this and we can run with it and personalize it to different kinds of common food allergies. We could do nut allergies, we could do peanut allergies, coconut, dairy, and we make sure that we have it be something that a kid can wear and it'll get noticed. So let's make our note here. I would say that this is low, and I would say that we want to be different. And I would say that we would do that by sub-niching to different food allergies. Okay, so my note here is sub-niching to different food allergies is an option. Sales volume is low, but could be consistent sellers. And as a side note, these food allergy alerts are very achievable to do with AI prompts. So it should be fairly straightforward to be able to compete with a little bit of effort. Okay, so hopefully looking over my shoulder and seeing kind of how I evaluate whether or not to enter certain print-on-demand niches and where I think I could find cracks was helpful for you. Now, believe me, I understand that this can be very tedious and boring to do, but taking all of these notes, properly evaluating whether or not sales are happening, properly evaluating whether or not you can compete with the current designs on price, quality, or differentiation are very important things to do, and I would rather take this process seriously and bore myself to tears than have a portfolio that doesn't make me any money. The other thing that can put you ahead is making sure that you bring up your skills so that you can compete with design quality. And if you want to learn how to do that using AI tools, then I would check out this video over here. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it helpful, and I will see you in that video.